So today I want to talk about these battery operated hedge trimmers and why I chose to use these over gas powered. When I first started out in this business, I really didn't have the money to go out and spend on a gas-powered hedge trimmer. And I also didn't really want to start out using the electric one with the extension cord and all that. I ended up buying this Kobalt version. Was the very first one I ever had. This was their version of it. They also have like a weed eater, lawnmower, and I think a blower that goes with this. They all utilize the same 40-volt battery system with Kobalt. But there was a deal going on where if you bought it online, you got an extra battery for free. So I ended up buying it online and picking it up in the store. One of the nice things about these battery operated hedge trimmers was when I first started, I wasn't trimming just a ton of shrubs. We all know that it's not good to just leave gas sitting in your gas powered equipment if you're not using it very often. And I felt like that was one of the reasons I did not want a gas powered hedge trimmer, was because of that. I was a little worried about power, that kind of thing. With this Kobalt one, I did get into a limb one time that was a little too big. It couldn't cut it, and it just smoked the little motor that was inside. Lowe's stood behind it, replaced it, no problem, wasn't a big deal at all. But whenever I say it smoked the motor, I mean there was like literally smoke coming out of it. So it doesn't have a ton of power. Well, now Milwaukee decided to send me over their Milwaukee Fuel 18-volt hedge trimmer system. They also have a weed eater and a blower that go with this system. One of the things that I like about this is the battery that goes on the hedge trimmer will also go on any of your M18 equipment. Just like my impact wrench, it will go on that. You can take it right off and put it on to this. So that was one thing I really like about their setup, is that you can utilize batteries from each thing to go to the next. Also have that grease gun. These batteries will both work on that grease gun also. With the Kobalt one, you don't have that option. This battery is for pretty much their lawn care stuff. I do have a Kobalt drill over there. This battery does not work in it. So that was kind of one of the downsides, is those batteries just worked with those systems. Now, weight wise, I think either way, these are way lighter than a gas powered unit. But the Kobalt is definitely the lightest. But you can really tell that it's like very cheaply built, especially side by side with the Milwaukee. A lot of the weight in the Kobalt is just the battery. Without the battery, it's actually quite lightweight. I don't know the weight on them, but the battery is a lot of the weight. One of the neat things that I noticed on the Milwaukee is it's very off weight. Like, this is really lightweight, the blades are pretty heavy duty, but as soon as you mount the battery, it kind of centers the weight, and they're very well balanced. I've made a lot of money with the Kobalt setup. I really like it. I still use it for small jobs, or if I have a helper with me, one of us can use each one of the units. The Milwaukee one just feels really solid, really well built. really well thought out. Another thing I think Milwaukee did with their unit over the Kobalt unit that is much better was the blade cover. It's actually a good solid plastic blade cover. It will just slide over the blade, protect the blade. It stays on there really snug. Haven't had any problems with it. Now the Kobalt one, on the other hand, it came with this really cheap thin plastic piece that would slide over it, but it wouldn't stay on it. So it ended up falling off. I ended up losing it. Really have no clue where it ended up. So these blades just pretty much stay exposed all the time. So the fact that I was able to get into one of these kind of hedge trimmers at a much cheaper price than a gas powered one was really the reason that I started out using these battery operated hedge trimmers. But you know, I've kind of gotten used to them now. I've gotten to where I really like them. I like the way they work. I like the weight. I like the way they cut. And so it's made me kind of decide to kind of stick with these. I know with the Milwaukee, just the other day, I trimmed 27 shrubs with it. And you know, the little light meter that's back here on the battery, I think it may have gone down like one light, but that is it. This thing, same thing. These batteries just seem to last forever on these things, and I've been able to trim complete jobs, one battery, never having it run down. The only time I've ran out of battery power with it is because I've done multiple jobs and I didn't check the battery before I got to the job site. With this Kobalt one, I do have that spare battery that I got with it. And with the Milwaukee, the same batteries that I use with the grease gun and the impact wrench are the same batteries for this. So a lot of times I'll just grab one of those, take it with me as kind of a backup just in case this was to run out. So I would definitely recommend a battery operated hedge trimmer to anybody. I think even the pros, you know, a lot of us look at this stuff and we go, oh, it's battery operated, you know. That's for the homeowner, that's not for a pro. I kind of disagree with the hedge trimmers. I really think guys ought to give them a try, utilize them. They're much quieter, much easier to use, and you don't have to deal with gas and making sure you have your gas with you, and carburetor problems, filter problems, all these things that go along with your gas powered stuff. You don't have that problem. You know, whenever you click the button, it starts. So if you've been thinking about getting a battery powered hedge trimmer, I would definitely suggest taking a look at it. I'll put a link down in the description over to both of these. Check them out. I don't have prices off the top of my head, but those links, I'll make sure that those have prices on them. And check these things out, see what you think. And I would suggest giving them a try.